Are you thinking about moving to Charleston, South Carolina? Well, we are going to give you the reasons why you should consider moving there potentially now or maybe towards the end of your life. I know growing up, I think about where I'm going to live next, as California for me is no longer really an option. And honestly, Angelo, Charleston might be that place. So we're going to get
Could
into it
be.
now. We're going to get into the savings breakdown, cost of living there, show a quick couple photos, talk about what it would look like for you to move there, and give you some pointers about the future of you transitioning to Charleston. We're going to get into it right now. If you get something valuable in this video, make sure you leave a like. Angelo, are you ready to talk about Charleston?
Let's do it, man. Charleston is one of our favorites, me and my wife's favorite places to go. Yes, sir, for sure. So let's break it down, unless you got something else to say there, Gav.
No, I just want let me intro you. Let me intro you. Living in Charleston, South Carolina. Angelo, what does the cost of living look there?
Okay, so cost of living in Charleston, South Carolina. Median household income, you're looking right about $80,000. The national is about $80,610. Median home price in Charleston is, get ready for it, $649,000. Now, that is definitely higher than many of the places in the nation. It's definitely higher than South Carolina's median of $380,000. Look, Charleston, inside the Charleston area is definitely a pricier place to be, but man, you can't put a price tag on old Southern charm, right? People are flocking from New York City, DC, LA, Boston, Chicago. They're getting the hell out of those places and they're heading down to Charleston, South Carolina. And we're going to explain it to you why, because Charleston is just a very, very cute, awesome place to be. Yes, it's a little bit pricier, but it's an awesome place to be, man. Let's show some pics here of Charleston there, Gab. What do you think? What do you say?
Give me your thoughts, because honestly, Angelo, I like this because where I'm from, everything that was old and, been around for many years in California has now been ridden with homelessness. The building's been torn down. And when you look at this is downtown Charleston right here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, downtown Charleston it's like you're going onto a movie set. You go in downtown Charleston and you're like, holy shit, like this is it's a gorgeous, and you can tell the history of Charleston when you're walking around Charleston, around the Battery. This is a picture of the Battery here about the coast where they had Civil War. Look at some of these older colonial homes, man. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it's clean. Mm-hmm. It's clean. You're going to, everywhere that you go in Charleston, it's clean. They keep that city clean. They love its history. They love the culture. Charleston is a very awesome place to be. I mean, just look at another one of these pictures here. It's gorgeous. Once again, it's on the top, in my wife's top list of places to go to vacation. If you're in Charlotte, it's a quick 3.5 hour jaunt to Charleston for a quick little getaway. So if you can't afford to purchase a property there or a second home there, maybe when we retire, we'll think about doing Charleston. But there's so many things to do in Charleston as well. Do you want to get into that, or do you want to just talk about it in the next slide?
I do want to get into it. But Angelo,
Okay.
you said something to me before the video here. You were like, I was thinking about buying a property here. Why were you
Yes.
considering buying a property in Charleston?
So we were looking at buying a property. This is pre-COVID, when property values were relatively decent, okay? Post-COVID, they skyrocketed 2 and 3x. So we were looking at a property there to have either a second home or have a beach property. We love Folly Beach. Folly Beach is our favorite beach by far anywhere on the coast. If you haven't checked out Folly Beach, go and spend a couple days there in Folly Beach. There's awesome places to go. It's right on the beach. It's a very cute little, kind of like a little hippie town, but also a surfer. Hey, dude, Cowabunga town. If you want to go there and just get a getaway. But we looked at a property there because it was semi-affordable at the time. We didn't pull the trigger. Stupidly, we didn't pull the trigger at that time. But Charleston because it is a place to be. It's a fantastic area for a rental if you wanted to rent it out. It's usually booked pretty solid any time of the season. So it doesn't really matter if it's winter, summer, or not. I mean, it stays heavily occupied, heavily booked. And I mean, last trip that we went, we took both the dogs down there and walked on the beach every morning. And it's an awesome place to be, and to have an investment. Now, I will say, if you are purchasing a property in South Carolina as an investment property, certain areas of Charleston, they don't let you Airbnb, because there's certain requirements and restrictions that you can't have an Airbnb. But the taxes, they tax the property taxes different for an investment property versus a primary residence, and they hit you pretty hard with that. I mean, same for the Myrtle Beach property. They hit you. It's about like 1.5% of the property, the assessed value. So got to be careful about purchasing a property in South Carolina if you're going to classify it as an investment property. So, but yes, we were thinking about doing that, having an investment property there in Charleston, but just a bit too pricey.
Let's get into Charleston versus Charlotte, North Carolina. So, Angelo, you live in Charlotte and you've been a couple times to Charleston. Give us some comparison here and give us some data.
So I'm not going to go through this line by line, but just a real quick. Top three is probably the most important. The population of Charleston, as you can see here, much lower than Charlotte, 150,000 versus 923,000. Median home price, yeah, I mean, it trumps Charlotte by far, 649 versus 429. Job market in Charleston, there's definitely tourism. There's a lot of tourism going down in Charleston, a little bit of tech. Charlotte, definitely tech and banking heavy in Charlotte, North Carolina. So those are the top three that if you're thinking about moving to, Charleston, or just looking at some property, some data for the different cities, that's three different property, data points that you want to take heed of. Crime rate, definitely in Charleston, it's not as bad as Charlotte. Not that Charlotte's very bad, but it's definitely not the best. Crime,
it's not
public transport. It's not Fayetteville. That's true. Amenities. So the Parks and Rec, the amenities. When we're talking about Charlotte's a new city, right? It's a newer city. You can tell that by when you're driving through on 77 or 85. You're driving around the town. You can say it's a very new city. Charleston, it's got its southern charm. It's old. You have your houses that were built in the 1800s, late 1800s, for early 1900s, that are still there. They've renovated them. They've made them new. There's this whole historic district. It is a night and day difference between Charleston and Charlotte when we're talking about aesthetics. We're talking about culture. We're talking about beaches too. I mean, there's no beaches in Charlotte like there is in Charleston. The nightlife in Charleston is pretty banging. You have King Street and you have Market Street. We'll talk about the market here in a second. Just like in Charlotte, now if you're looking for something to do in Charlotte, South End or LoSo, now Lower South End is what they call it, is where the places to be in Charlotte. In Charleston, you have King Street and Market Street, where all the things to do. Now, there also is a university there. University, I think it's South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, but there's a university kind of pretty much in the heart of in Charleston. So there's a lot of things to do, a lot of people to meet, a lot of places to go. It does have coastal access. We're about 3.5 hours from the coast here from Charlotte. It's just got historic charm. I mean, hands down, you're not gonna go to too many cities that are gonna trump Charleston when it comes to old school history and just the historic look of it. And things to do in Charleston, because we've been quite a few times. I mean, there's, you can go to the Battery, you can, go to see some of on the ports, they have some of the battleships there from time to time. They have haunted house tours at night. They have like restaurant tours. I mean, I could talk on and on about Charleston. It's definitely it's a very fun city. A little bit pricey right now, but it's definitely fun. It's an awesome city, just hands down.
Angela, I have to say, because I was telling you before the video, I looked at some other videos of people talking about their vacation to Charleston. And some people were a little disappointed. And I have to say, like, these people were from Toronto or New York and thought they were going to be in Los Angeles or thought they were going to be in some other pop-in town. And Charleston seemingly does have its old school roots. You got its old school architecture, and it has a culture there that has not been replaced. You know, when I think about where I live in California right now and what my grandfather says what it was like 100 years ago, it's nothing like it was 100 years ago here in Huntington Beach, California. And so when I look at Charleston, you know, it's been around for like 300 years and it's still
Yeah.
maintaining its roots. It's one of those last cities in America where it is unchanged.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're definitely holding out. They're holding it to its
They're
character and
holding
its
out.
culture there. And yeah, just like they held out in the war there, the Civil War at the Battery. They're sticking to their guns there. See what I did there? See
Yeah.
what I did?
Angelo, why move to Charleston? What are some points you can tell the team here?
It's old fashioned. It is awesome downtown, and they have probably one of the largest like markets there. It's called the Charleston, the City Market, where you go through Meeting Street and King Street. It's like 3 or 4 blocks of you have food, you have things you can buy for like boutiques. You have God, you have like jewelry stores. Like it's just a really cool open, kind of like an open air market, but it's covered that you can go. There's always something to do in Charleston around there. It's got coastal living with historic charm, lower cost of living compared to some metro areas. I'm not going to just kind of read here, but the nightlife is kind of banging. If you're into that thing, but if you want to chill and have a nice relaxing dinner, the restaurants there are top notch. In and around the Charleston, the downtown area, you're going to find any sort of cuisine that you want, and of course, seafood is going to be top notch as well.
All right, Angelo, let's give a savings breakdown between Charleston and New York City because, as you said at the top of the video, the biggest place people are leaving to move to Charleston is New York City. All right, so give us that savings breakdown for someone out there that is looking to go to Charleston. How much money would they be saving annually from going from New York City to Charleston, South Carolina?
Man, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired in New York City paying those crazy property taxes? Well, let's go ahead and break it down. New York City median home price $850, Charleston $650. Let's say monthly payment $58.28, monthly payment for Charleston $44.54. Annual savings right there $16,488. Boom. Taxes, we just kind of laid it out for the property taxes. Now we got federal, state, total $4,800 annual savings there. Then you got your groceries down the line here. Annual savings $7,200. Grand total of savings you're at $28,048. Not to mention you're warm a majority of the year instead of freezing your ass off in New York City. Okay, plain and simple. That is reason enough to get out of New York City. I got friends that they're just like, if it wasn't for the job or it wasn't for this, and we'd be out because the taxes, New York City taxes. Working with somebody right now, they're selling their property in New York, not in the city per se, outside of New York, and they're moving down to Conway, South Carolina. So a lot of people are just getting out of the north, coming down to the southern areas here in the Carolinas.
Angelo, got to give a final grade here. What would you grade Charleston, South Carolina?
All right, man. So this is a hard one. I want to give it an A+ because it's awesome all the way around, but I'm going to have to stick with A- because the property values. It's pricey. It's pricey. So it's a great place to be. I'd give it an A+ if it wasn't so expensive to be there. We'd probably have a property there if it wasn't for damn COVID. Way to go, COVID. Anyways, but yeah, so it's an A- because it's got all of the historic charm. It's got coast, it's got beaches, it's got food, it's got cuisine. I mean, you name it. Lower cost of living than some other places. Nightlife is off the charts too, if that's your thing. So I'd give it an A-. That's the only reason it's on the minus and not the plus is because of the property prices.
All right, Angelo, the steps to buying in Charleston, South Carolina. Angelo, can you help them buy in Charleston?
I got you. A family member, a coworker, you name it. I got you. We lend in North, South, and Florida for conventional loans, 42 states for investment property loans. First and foremost, you got to contact me. We'll get you a loan application. We'll get you pre-qualified. We'll make sure that the payments comfortable for you. You may be able to get qualified for more than you think, but we want to make sure that you're living comfortably and you're not house poor. We'll get you pre-qualified. We'll get you with an agent, and we will get you into a home within 30 to 45 days. We could probably do it way less than that, but it may take you longer to find the home than to get you approved in the home. So that's what it would take. Holler at me. You can find me on any of my social media accounts here, or you can call 704-248-8742, and I got you.
Or you can click the pin link down below and reach out to him, but definitely do the text because that's way quicker. I did want to leave off with this paragraph and quote. It was on the Charleston City website, and it was the kind of concluding paragraph on the website. It said this: with a rich 300-year history, Charleston today is America's most beautifully preserved architectural and historical treasure. The city's past is a testament to the spirit and tenacity of its citizens. Its appeal has been described as a living museum. As Charleston's native Elizabeth O'Neill Verner once said, "It is impossible for me to enter Charleston from any side, whether by land or by sea, and not feel that here the land is precious. Here is a place worth keeping." I thought that was beautiful.
Give me chills, dude.
Yeah,
Give me chills.
It did. It did. So, team, if you're thinking about moving to Charleston, click the pin link down below or text Angelo directly. All of that will be in the comment section down below. You'll see all the info down there to reach out to Angelo. Team, I expect to hear from you soon via Angelo. Angelo's going to tell me, hey, someone wants to move to Charleston from our video. So, team, I want to hear that. Or if you just want additional information, reach out there. Team, we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.